And hello, good people of the internet. It is I, Tommy Kelly. This is Adventures in Woo Woo. This episode, I want to go through a couple of books that I think a beginner or a novice or a neophyte in chaos magic might find helpful. This came from a question I got in the question and answer sessions we did a couple of videos ago, but I thought I'd give it its own video. Before that, however, I want to give a big shout out to Magick from chaostarot.com, who very kindly bought me an Elgato cam link off my Amazon wish list, which allows me to plug in my DSLR into the computer, and use it essentially as a webcam, but with a whole lot more to it than just that. Makes things an awful lot easier, better, the quality hopefully is much better. So thank you, Magick. I really appreciate it. And go check out his website and all his social media. It'll all be in the show description. So with these books, there's some of them that, while I don't think they're probably the greatest magic books now, if you're going to be kind of embedding yourself in a kind of chaos magic paradigm or in the community or talking to other people about chaos magic, then there's a number of primers that you would probably need to become familiar with. Just because everyone kind of knows them, they're the touchstones people, it's the original stuff where all the ideas came from. If you're having a conversation with people, it would be nice to be able to understand where everyone is coming from. With the caveat that, again, they're probably not, at this point, the greatest magic books in the world, and probably weren't at the time they came out either. First one, that when you're getting into chaos magic is probably always recommended, is Lieber, Null, and Psychonaut. This is by Peter J. Carroll. And this is kind of, the kind of standard textbook of chaos magic. And we went through it not that long ago on one of our book clubs over on the Patreon. An awful lot of it just didn't gel with me, and I didn't enjoy it as much as I probably did back in the day. But it's, there's an awful lot of good ideas in it. Some of them are a bit dated, some of them not so good ideas, but overall, probably worth your while to have a read of that, just so that you're on the same page as everyone else. I think there's a new edition of this that's come out since, so maybe pick that up. Another one of the oldies is Prime Chaos by Phil Hine. As far as I know, Phil Hine has completely shunned his chaos magic past and essentially is focused more on kind of tantra-based stuff or whatever. But Prime Chaos is another one of those books that will give you a good overview of the whole kind of chaos magic paradigm, what people were attempting, what was kind of ethos, the ideas that were going in it, the kind of different rituals, the approaches, all of that. So that'll be a pretty good one to get in on as well. Alan Chapman's Advanced Magic for Beginners. This is a great book, and it's often the one I recommend for people who literally know nothing about magic or are looking for the first book on magic. What I like about the approach to it is that it's try it and see, do it, actually do this stuff rather than they're thinking about the stuff. Because an awful lot of times I find when I'm interacting with people, particularly new people, they'll say, can I do this? Can I try that? Should I do this? Whatever. And it's like, yeah, just try all the stuff and see what happens. Now, of course, there is buyer beware with magic, that it's not, totally safe. And essentially, by design, will mostly ruin your life. By that I mean it'll start you on a journey that will tear apart your very existence and what you thought about the world and yourself, and then put you all back together, hopefully in a more coherent and better way. What an amazing vocabulary I have at times. And Advanced Magic for Beginners, again, is one of those ones that really kind of get you to actually do the stuff in a very practical way as well. There's some hokey stuff in it too, and people either love Alan Chapman or hate Alan Chapman. Some people just can't warm to his tone, to his personality. But the ideas in that book are great, particularly if you're just starting out on a chaos magic path. Now, into books that I think are the proper, good, best chaos magic books. This is the best, as I get it in focus. This is the best chaos magic book ever existed, ever written, totally, hands down, and with every other book on chaos magic being completely and utterly secondary by a long shot. It's the KLF book by John Higgs. Even if you're not into the KLF, which, I got into the KLF after having read this book, and even the music, even though it's not really my thing, I can appreciate it and stuff like that. But what I thoroughly enjoy is the approach that the two guys from the KLF had towards life, making art, general magic kind of outlook on these things. So you have Bill Drummond and Jim Cauty are the two guys behind the KLF, and they're very interesting guys, and have done an awful lot of stuff since. I won't go into too much about it because we're talking about chaos magic rather than the KLF, but there is a number of podcasts and other videos that I have done over the while that goes into it a bit more if you want. John Higgs is a fantastic writer. He often goes off on tangents and explains the greater world around the subjects that he's talking about. Not in a bad way, it's in a wonderful way where you just kind of really get embedded in the world and the ethos and, the general kind of zeitgeist of the main characters. And in this case, KLF and Chaos Magic. So you get a bit of Robert Anton Wilson, a bit of Alan Moore, a bit of, the greater kind of sphere. Top class, best book on Chaos Magic by far, hands down. SSOTBME, which is by Ramsey Jukes, or Schnell is his real name. This is an exceptionally good book on chaos magic and magic in general. Highly recommend it. Just goes through it in such a way that it's like a practical, almost rational approach to magic, but still having the woo to it. Lionel is an absolute treasure, and everyone who's into magic, chaos magic, or has any sort of remote interest in woo should have a read of that. It's just a wonderful book, really top-class book. The last book I want to talk about is Cosmic Trigger, Robert Anton Wilson. There was a period where no one would ever say anything bad about it at all, and it was just kind of, it was just, he was the man, whatever. Some of his ideas have become less popular, I suppose, over the while, but he has a great approach. Whether you agree with his opinions or his outcomes or his views or whatever it is, he's a fantastic writer and a really great approach to the world and approach to magic, where he takes it quite serious without taking himself serious. It has a huge amount of humor to it and can poke fun at himself, can poke fun at the subject he's talking about. Very easy to read, very good insights. Possibly some of the stuff is dated now at this point, or you will feel that you've read it before, because so many people have taken from Robert Anton Wilson, put their own spin on it. So it's a bit like if you read The Invisibles now, having not read it back in the day, or not read it before you've seen The Matrix or any number of films, you will kind of go, oh, well, this has been done before. It's kind of, in some ways, it's of its time, but in some ways it's not. It's very fresh and still very valid. And how he looks at conspiracies and how he looks at the different kind of factors of magic, or Magick, as he would pronounce it, still very relevant, still very helpful, and still worth your time. There's 3 volumes of that. First one's the best, second one, and then like in order of how good they are. Written over a period, I think the first one's 1977 and the last one's like early 90s, so it's written over like a 15-year period or something like that. There's great audiobook versions of it available now on Audible. The narrator isn't Robert Anton Wilson, because it was done recently, but he's the guy who played him in a play, and he does it really, really well. And if audiobooks are more what you're into, they're pretty good. So, to go back over, Cosmic Trigger, Robert Anton Wilson. SSOTBME by Ramsey Jukes. That is Sex Secrets of the Black Magicians Exposed. That's what that means. I should have mentioned that earlier. Best book ever on chaos magic, bar none. KLF, what's its full title? KLF, Chaos Magic and the Band Who Burned £1 Million by John Higgs. Just fantastic, absolutely brilliant. Just buy it, just get it. There's a new edition that's coming out soon as well. Maybe wait for that. There's some extra pages. Oh no, maybe it's just hardback. I don't know, check it out. All the links will be in the show description. Alan Chapman's Advanced Magic for Beginners, a great book at actually doing magic. Go and do magic rather than sitting around thinking about magic or what you're allowed to do, and find out for yourself if magic works or not. And then we have Prime Chaos, I'll do these both together, and Lieber, Null and Psychonaut, which are the OG chaos magic books from back in the day when it was just coming out and forming itself as a paradigm, and will give you a good grounding and understanding of the different concepts in chaos magic so that you can interact with other chaos magicians and the paradigm itself and the community, and have an understanding of the basis behind it all. Recommending the books is not recommending the authors or what they subsequently did after that or anything like that. It's just the good books. Some of the people in chaos magic and the occult end up in weird places. Everyone seems to be somewhat problematic in some way. So it's not an endorsement of every single thing the person has ever done since writing that book. Or it's not even a full endorsement of some of the books, just that they will be helpful and will make you understand the paradigm that you're trying to get into and the community that you might be embedding yourself in or trying to wade through, and will help you have an understanding of the terms, the ideas, and the paradigm itself. That's it. Not an endorsement of everyone's life subsequently afterwards. So, good people of the internet, that is probably the last question from that previous question and answer session that I will make a video out of. We're going to do more question and answer videos every month. So if you want in on that, either join up the Patreon, links in the description, or head over to the Discord, where there's a whole channel where you can leave me questions that you would like me to answer. If you'd like to support the channel, me, on everything I do in general, then the Patreon is a great place to do that. Or send me a one-time donation via PayPal, buy me a book off my wish list, buy me something off my wish list like Matthew Scott Mead did. Very grateful once again for doing that for me, Matthew, and there are a whole host of ways that you can support me and the work I do. Links in the show description. So, good people of the internet, until next time, may your best days be ahead and be well.